Well, hey, good evening. Welcome back to my little gardening show. I'm out at the garden, getting ready to put the seedlings up in the greenhouse. And there's some interesting stuff happening here. And let me show you kind of what I'm finding. So at first glance, everything's looking pretty great. You know, no signs of deficiency. Everything's nice and green. We got it out here where they're getting some wind. The stems are greening up because the temperatures are getting warmer. There are multiple sets of true leaves. And tomatoes are looking real good for the most part. Same with our peppers. They're doing pretty well. The really hot ones, they're growing pretty slow, but they're doing well. But some of these tomatoes, you know, the top got clipped there. Something ate that, or it got broken off. That's my San Marzano. They're just forming up kind of weird. Like this one has been over and there's no growth tip. I don't see where unless this is the, it's weird. Same with this one. So I don't know what the deal is there. I might end up having to go to the greenhouse, the little grow center, to get me some sauce tomatoes this year. But another one, here's another one that's kind of just a little weird looking. But most of them look fine. A couple of them you can tell they've got the potato leaf, which means that that's either like the pink Brandywine or my True Black Brandywine. This is pink Brandywine. It's a nice looking plant. So anyway, got them out. My sister's got her flowers out, but I'm actually going to be putting these back in the greenhouse because it's supposed to, we got 40% chance of storms tonight. So I want to get these back in because they're not ready for that. I don't want these trays to be just super saturated. So we'll work on getting these back in the greenhouse and then probably bring them back out tomorrow. We might have to baby them, you know, as far as transitioning them back and forth until you know, we're not running up against storms like that, until we can get them planted out in the garden, which right now I'm planning on maybe Memorial Day weekend, getting those planted out. I think May 15th was the earliest as the kind of frost-free date around here for the warm weather stuff. So technically I could put them out like this week and it would be fine, probably. We'll see. We'll get these back in the greenhouse. All right, so everything's safe and sound back in the greenhouse. My sister's got some flowers. Some of them aren't doing as well. Looks like she's doing some pumpkins too. The kids are going to be excited about that. Coming down to the garden here, looks like my sister's been busy planting herbs. That looks like oregano, maybe. Looks like she's got some flowers planted. And then they did something here because this is all kind of tilled up. It looks like she might have something planted on this side too, or maybe they're just prepping the ground. They do have the couple other flowers and things planted in here. We had to put some chicken wire because bunny rabbits were getting to this. Speaking of which, I need to, I'm hoping this weekend we're going to go ahead and finish up our chicken wire project. We got half of the garden in chicken wire, basically the side that the bunny rabbits would probably approach from anyway. This side though, not as secure. I need to put up a couple sections there and then this back side. Get our chicken wire up there and we'll be prepared. Now, thinking more about the tomato trellis project, you know, we lowered the trellises this year so that we've got the option to string up, everything's working height. But as far as keeping the weeds down, what I'm inclined to do this year after we amend the ground and get it going is get some cardboard. If we can get a hold of some cardboard and line this whole area with cardboard, and then somehow get some wood mulch. You know, maybe I don't know how much it would cost me to get a load of that, but then cover the cardboard in layered mulch, except for the where we want to plant the tomatoes along the one side of the trellis. And in that case, I would layer the mulch, but we'd do that after the fact, after we made our holes. So what I'm thinking on that is maybe getting a clay pot that's got a decent diameter to it, use it as kind of our template, and cut out the holes where we would put the tomatoes, use our post hole digger to dig those holes. Once everything's planted in, then kind of put wood chips around all of that. And that would keep that whole area weed free for the season. At the same time, the cardboard would break down probably within a season or two completely, as the worms are coming up and eating it and it's just decomposing. And then we'd still have the heavy wood chip layer on top. Ideally, I think that would be the way to go on this, rather than using the landscape fabric, because the fabric's gonna tear. It's not biodegradable. I'm gonna have to rip it all up at the end of the season. It's gonna be a little bit, I mean, it's gonna be work either way, but to keep this area weed free, and also probably it would cut down on the soil-borne diseases quite a bit if we layered this in cardboard and covered it in wood chips, and then our wood mulch, and we're selective where we put the tomatoes. I think that could work out really well if we've got the time and the resources to do that this year. Worst case scenario, we won't do anything. We'll just plant them in and we'll manually weed and just, you know, do what we can to manage it that way, and that would work as well. We could do it that way. So we'll see how that ends up. Not a lot of well, actually, we do have some things sprouted. Let's go in the garden real quick. I don't know if you can see them, but we got radishes that are... We had sprinkled radish seeds in here. And we had planted some beets down here. Now, I don't see any of those sprouted yet. None of our green beans are up either. Here though, we got a lot of lettuce that's coming up. We planted a bunch of butter crunch, a couple different varieties. And what we did there is we just sprinkled a bunch of seed in there and then took the garden rake over it, and it worked out pretty well. The potatoes, no new growth has really sprouted out of that yet. But our greens are doing really well. Seem to be settling in. I'll probably fertilize these this weekend. Alright, well, I guess that's it for now. We're going to take off here. I got some other things to do tonight, so till next time, happy gardening. Bye.